Hello, everyone. I'm Jenna Ryan with First Place Real Estate, and today I want to talk to you about the inspection process. Whenever you sell your home and you get a contract on your home, there will be an inspection. If you're a seller, then there's going to be an inspection on your home. And what happens is there's an option period of generally 5 to 7 days. And during that time, the buyer will go through your home, your property with a fine-tooth comb, trying to find out what's going on with the property, if there's anything wrong with the property. And so they hire an inspector. The inspector generally costs about $400 to $500. And the inspector's job is to find something wrong with the house. That's just the way it goes. So they're going to be going through your house with a fine-tooth comb and finding anything that's wrong with the property, any delayed maintenance, anything that needs to be fixed, so that they can make a good decision in the purchase of the home. So buying a home is a humongous, expense. And so it's a very big investment. So in order to make them comfortable, the seller offers that option period and they negotiate it in the contract. And then the buyer will go through the house with the inspector and find things that need to be fixed. And then they will produce for the buyer agent, their buyer agent will produce a form that is a repair amendment, and they're going to request that certain repairs be done to the property. Do count on this. It very rarely doesn't happen. Count on there being a few things that need to be looked at just to kind of get the property to where the buyer feels comfortable. Generally, it's about, anywhere from $500 to $3,000. Anything over $3,000 is way high, and it will probably, can really hurt the deal. But, it's very normal to have a $3,000 request or a $500 request. If anything is wrong majorly with the house, like with the major systems such as the roof or foundation, generally that has to be fixed. You can't really sell a house with a bad roof because the buyer cannot get it insured. So we have to have a good roof. You have to have things like a dishwasher that works. Those small things those things need to be working. Hot water heater, the air conditioner has to work. Unless you're doing like a wholesale or, a fixer-upper or something like that. But those main systems need to work. So if you want to get someone out before the inspection process, get your HVAC person out to do a maintenance on the HVAC, that's a really good idea. You can even do a whole inspection just so you know everything that's wrong before the inspector comes out. But just know that no matter what you do, they're going to find things wrong with the house because that's the nature of selling real estate. And buyers are always very, cautious, and they want to make sure that they know what's going on with the house. Anyway, the repair amendment is negotiated between the buyer and the seller through the agents. So, they ask for stuff and you can decide if you'll provide it or not. And, it's really up to you, and it's a good idea to go ahead and do whatever you can, whatever's feasible, and whatever you can tolerate yourself. You want to sell a house that's good. So whenever the inspector comes to your property, you really need to not be there. It's best if you're just not there. They're going to need like a half day. Usually the inspector comes out for several hours and goes through the whole entire house with a fine-tooth comb. And then at the end, the buyer usually comes and meets with the inspector and goes over all of the things that the inspector has found in the property that need to be addressed. And so the seller's going to be, the buyer's going to be there, the inspector's going to be there, and it's just, you want to make sure the house is clean and beautiful, and, change your air conditioning, vent and things. Make sure everything's clean, okay? Make sure everything looks good. Make sure that there's a straight line where they can actually access the attic access. They can access the breaker box. They need to be able to access the systems of the home. They may be, checking out the roof a little bit. They're not going to do any major, stuff. They're just going to be looking. And if the inspector sees anything, he's going to put in his report, his very thick 30-page report, he's going to put, I recommend that you get an expert out to look at this issue. So if he even so much as suspects there being a problem, he's going to recommend that the buyer get an expert out. So then you have to have another day where an HVAC professional comes out, or a structural engineer, or a foundation company, or a roofing company may need to come out to the property. So I also ask that you do not pack until after the option period. You know, like I said, it's generally 5 to 7 days, and we just want to make sure the deal's solid, because during the option, the buyer can back out of the option at any time, and you'll get to keep their option fee, but it's not a done deal. It's not solid until the option is over, and then there's some other hoops you have to jump through a little bit, and I'll do another video about the financing part, okay? But usually, you know, deals are not really prone to fall through. They can, so you always want to be prepared just in case, you know, anything can happen until closing day. But during the option, just keep the house nice, be prepared. They're going to want to come see the house probably. They may bring contractors in to measure, and if they're going to do new floors or new cabinets, they may bring contractors in to come and give estimates. Just really keep your home open for them during that time. They will make an appointment, and it will, you know, they have to do a reasonable appointment and give you 24 hours notice. But this is just a pleasant process. You can make it really smooth, and that's what I like to do, is keep everybody really smooth. And generally, if they ask for repairs, we like to do money in lieu of repairs. So it's better to just, you know, if it's, you know, $500 or $1,000 or whatever it ends up being, it's better to just pay that rather than to do the repairs yourself if possible, because buyers usually would prefer to do the repairs themselves, A, and B, if you say that you're going to do the repairs, it could, you know, the buyer may not like the repairs, and it could cause delay in closing. I do have some really handy clients that like to do stuff on their own, and they get that list and they're like already fixing it that day. I'm like, wow, that was fast. I have some clients like that, but it just depends on you. It depends on how, you know, how you handle that. And if you can, I always recommend money in lieu of repairs, unless you're super duper handy and you're on it and you're already fixing it before I even have a chance to call you. So we have, you know, the 5 to 7 days to negotiate these repairs. And if there is something wrong with like the roof or something, there's definitely a way to work through that. I'm going to do another video about like if you have to repair the roof. I'm going to do one about if you have to repair the foundation and things like that, so that you can have a comfort level going in. And so that's just what I wanted to tell you today about the inspection process. And just make sure they have access. Keep a positive, upbeat attitude, because this is just part of the process. I know selling your house is very nerve-wracking, and the whole process is very stressful for both the buyer and the seller. But we can make it smooth as possible, and we can keep everybody happy and make sure the transaction is smooth. And don't worry, because we're working for you as hard as we can, and we'll get it done. And we're just gonna, you know, get that repair amendment, get that signed, and move to the pending stage of the process. And that's what I had to tell you today. I'm Jenna Ryan, First Place Real Estate in Dallas, Fort Worth, Metroplex. I sell in Texas, and you can call me at 877-JENNA-RYAN. Thank you.